Alexis Torres Galindo, who was dealing with this operation, has a previous murder charge out of Puerto Rico. We can't find out any disposition, but I'm told Puerto Rico is not known for keeping great records. Maybe the more money you pay somebody off, the worse the records get. I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, howdy, y'all. Unky T here. Now, here's part 4 of this ongoing series. Now, if you missed the first episode to the third episode, I'm going to put a pop-up right here. Here it is right here. And you can go there and see number 1 and work your way through the videos that way. Before you do that, though, why don't y'all just click that light thumb up likey and do that right now, because you know you're going to forget later. Anyway, subscribe. Ring the bell, get your notifications. You'll find all these videos coming out pretty regular. So you don't want to miss out on that. Anyways, here comes part 4. Enjoy the denouement.
We started the roundup on Thursday. Guess what happened early Sunday morning? Late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, 12:15 a.m., just after midnight Saturday night, on May 17th. Alfonso Payne Jr. was gunned down in the middle of the street, less than 50 yards from where we served a search warrant. We found Alfonso at 40th Street and Atkins Road in Winter Haven in the middle of the street, not 50 yards from 3951 Atkins Road where we served a search warrant. One of the rumors on the street is that he was killed in retaliation. They suspected Alfonso might have been working with law enforcement. They murdered him. Alfonso wasn't working with law enforcement. Some of these groups here had already bonded out. Some of them are in, some of them are out when he was murdered. We need to solve this murder, but nobody knows anything. It's not all right for Alfonso to die. It's not all right for Shay to die. It's not all right for people not to tell us who did these murders. But understand this. If you're in the county jail, or if you were arrested during this roundup and you have information about this, it's important to tell us. No one's going to rest easy until we solve these murders. Every life is important to us. Every life is important to us. We owe it to their family to find the answers and to bring the perpetrators to justice. And I can't tell you for absolute sure one had anything to do with this operation, but I am a trained detective. And it happened in the same area, in the same time frame, after we put a bunch of bad guys in jail, and a lot of them know exactly how narcotics investigations are done because of their experience. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that the big guys here, many of which I highlighted, they hire the brand name defense attorneys in this community. They all have brand name defense attorneys. That's correct. We receive their communications, whether it's text messages or whether it is telephone calls. And there's a very elaborate process that you have to go through when you receive these communications. About you have to minimize, you have to only listen to pertinent calls. So it's a very complex situation that occurs.
Sheriff, what was the first search warrant and then the last, well, some haven't been served yet, but.
Well, first search warrants actually happened a few months ago, but most of the 12 happened within the last 2 weeks.
How did you choose which phones to intercept?
And understand, they use boost phones. So they'll use this phone a couple of days and throw it in the garbage, and then they'll go to another phone. Then we have to go to their next phone, and then they use that phone a few days and they throw it in the garbage, and you go to the next phone. They think they're slick. We know how to chase phones.
Sheriff, how concerned are you about more violence?
I'm always concerned about violence whenever it involves the sale and the trafficking in drugs. This is a subculture. It's an illegal criminal enterprise, and they will kill you to get your drugs. They will kill you to take your drugs. They will kill you over not paying your bills. They will kill you if they think you're involved in the other group or you're cutting into their business. To make it simple, it'd be like the Chevrolet dealership and the Ford dealership being on opposite sides of the road and shooting at each other back and forth across the road for taking a customer.
In many ways, you can interpret this as bad guy versus bad guy. Everyone else, good people, are isolated from it. Why should people in Polk County care about this, who are law-abiding citizens?
But because these folks are dealing drugs to your children. It's being imported, it's being trafficked, it's being dealt, and then it is moving down to your children. They're also recruiting people to work in levels of their organization, lower levels of their organization. And there's collateral damage when the 8-year-old gets pistol whipped in a home invasion robbery. When Shay gets shot and killed trying to help her husband hold the door closed so they can't get in the house. Shay was at home cooking dinner, had food on the stove from where she was preparing dinner when she died. Chief Walensky is a dear friend of mine. He retired from the sheriff's office and ran investigations for years and years and years for us, and there's no one that knows this business any better than him. He's now the chief in Haines City and one of our partners in this investigation. Chief?
So you bring up a good point about good people being isolated. That's actually not true. So all the people in Haines City that were arrested are from Oakland for the city of Haines City. Michael Williams here that the sheriff spoke about, one of the top dogs of the system, and during his search warrant, when they executed the search warrant, they found his father. Keeping in mind, Michael makes a lot of money, right? Got all these brand name attorneys. So his father was in bed he has dementia. He can't handle himself. And it was full of urine. So if that doesn't shock the conscience of the public, I don't know what will. This small group that seems to get larger that wants to take over. And shots get fired. And so far we have been very fortunate with these shots being fired that innocent people have not been killed. But the day is going to come, trust me, that a child gets killed or some other person that has nothing to do with the dope. But keep in mind, dope dealers are, I believe, considered by Tallahassee low, right? So we can just let them out of jail every other day. Put them in jail today, they're out tomorrow morning. So that needs to change. This will never stop. Never. But the bottom line is it's just not going to stop, and until the criminal justice system, because I am reminded every day since I took over as chief. I started as a young deputy. I don't want to put out my age, but it seems like we're going backwards. You put somebody in jail for a lot of felonies and they're out of jail tomorrow. And then I know when the sheriff became sheriff, that completely changed. People stayed in jail for a long time. Now we're going back to the same system we had. So for the good people that live in Haines City, you need to start talking to your legislatures, because it's not us. We're doing our job. We're putting them in jail, and the system's letting them out the next day.
Well, there you go, my friends. Now, the moral of this story here is, as we all know, is the liberal justice system. It's not the police. The police are out there doing their job like this chief says. And unfortunately, as you've seen through this country, you get the Democrats and the liberals out there just destroying humanity. And that's just the way it is, because they cheat to get in, and there's nothing anybody seems to be able to do about that. So there you go. So as we watch our country disintegrate, I want you all to have a blessed day. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you soon. Bye for now.